5 years, so it was 5 years, and then 5 years after that, going to this guy I met at a funeral. I said, are you the guy that works at a church, some church in Burlington, I think? He said, yes, I'm Pastor Bob. I said, you gave me a card, and I lost it, so he gave me another card. So that another 2 years passed, and that card, and I'm young till my grandson, right? We're having a great time. And I took a wrong turn. I said, and when I took the wrong turn, it was up here, to Mount Hope. And I said to my grandson, we gotta go home and see if that's where the church is that, the yard sale is. And Vicky said, Mount Hope. So we went running home, saw it on my refrigerator, Mount Hope. I said, we found it. Then it took me a few months to go here because I had never entered a Protestant church, never. I was only allowed in a Catholic church, and I thought, I'll go sit in the back and I will not talk to anybody just to make sure it's not a couch. So this woman came up to me, Ruth Hydron, and she said, are you alone? I said, oh, great. She said, come sit with us. I'm saying, it's a couch. So I sat with Carol, and Jim and I have been coming since then. But a couple of things before, because we were trying to figure out about the fire. When the fire was, to retrace it, how we got to Mount Hope, and partly for the fire is that I was working at Uva Hospital, and I was having the desire to pray more. So I saw this pair of rosary beads, and I'm not saying rosary beads are miracles or anything, don't get me wrong. But yes, honey? I told her to make sure I said that. I didn't even bring them. I said, oh, these rosary beads are really thin. Pick me up, Mary Ann, pick me up. So I picked up the rosary beads and went to Sister Margaret and said, well, how much are these? She said, you can't buy those, Mary Ann. She said, they're donated. You can take them. I said, I just can't take them. I want to pay for them. She said, no, the woman who makes them will not take any money. So I said, okay. So a couple of nights I tried to start praying up doing the rosary, and by the time I got to the second hymn, nearly I was out. So in the afternoon I said, did you put Valium? Did you lace those rosary beads with Valium? I said, because I can't stay awake. When I touch them, I go to sleep. Those were the And then my grandmother gave me, I'm not a dirty person, so it might sound like I'm not just a good housekeeper, which I'm not. But I had a pair of rosary beads over my crucifix I had in my bedroom for 30 years. And one day I said to Jim, I think I'm going to take them down and dust them, because they're probably dusty after 30 years. So I took them down, I washed them, and I put them in a towel. So that was okay. And of course, so people were saying to me, how did you know? Oh, so then the fire happened. So I got the 2 pairs of rosary beads. Jim was walking down to our front door to open it. And I said, Jim, please, don't go out that door. That's where the fire is. And he said, how do you know? The house was so smoky, you couldn't see where the fire was coming from. I said, just please come back. He came back. We went out the back door. And I was standing outside. And I said, the flames are going everywhere. And I said, oh, Jesus, please save my cat. And everybody there said, there's no way that cat's going to survive. And I wish I had said, through God, all things are possible. But I didn't. I agreed with the cat one lived. The cat was famous. Really, the cat was famous for 2 weeks. Everybody wanted to know the cat on TV. Calling my daughter. Did the cat live? Did the cat live? The cat lived. He was in the hospital for a week. But he lived. He was 17 when he died. So that was good.
So let me bring us back. So I have So in the midst of this fire, I think what we're getting at, you both saw God work in a number of ways. You saw God work in the fact that he saved the cat when no one thought it was possible. you saw God work and that everyone was able to get out of the house safely in a situation that, I mean, is even 11 years later to watch it on the screen is striking. And also, you mentioned something about knowing that Jim shouldn't go to the front door.
Right.
How did you know that Jim shouldn't go to the front door?
We didn't put all the pieces together. Excuse me. We didn't put. It was through the dream. What happened in the dream is what we did. And in the dream, the fire was behind the door. And the fireman said if we had opened that front door, we would both would have been engulfed in flames.
So when did you have the dream?
2 weeks before the fire. So God was with us, really with us. And the night of the fire, I wasn't nervous. It was like, you know how you say, God gives us, I'm getting nervous now. I said, peace, beyond our own understanding, and that's what happened. I even called 411, and she said...
She really called 411, by the way.
And the house was like filled with my said, oh, I'm so happy, I need to call 911. I called 911. Can you please come to our house? It's on fire. Okay, right? So, I'm standing outside, and I think I have 2 choices. I can stand out here and watch everything get burned, or I can go in the house next door and have a nice cup of tea. So I went in the house next door and had a nice cup of tea. And then a couple of days later, Jim wanted to go back in to see if he could retrieve anything. I wouldn't. I was too afraid then. There was no stairs left because it's not firing up the stairs in a 12-hour. So, and the fireman... We were in the... I'm sorry, what?
What floor were you on?
We were on the 2nd floor. We were on the 2nd floor and the fire started on the 1st floor. So... Any more questions? I'm sorry, I'm nervous. So, a couple of weeks passed, and Jim was bringing all these things into the home. The crucifix, when I get outside and said, oh, Jesus, please save my cat, I looked down, I had both pairs of rosary beads in my hand. I didn't go back. Because I thought for a second, go back and get some kids' pictures, the kids when they were little. And I said, no, we don't have enough time to do anything. We just need to go out now through the back door and get out of here. So I didn't go back for anything. But when I get outside, I have 2 pairs of hands, my rosary beads. And I felt like God was saying, I took care of you, and I want to make sure you know it. Because I always pray, God, I'm dense. So if you want to tell me something, you really like to make it has to be really clear.
So where was the cat? Let's hear more about this cat.
The cat was famous, and they gave us like $3 million to have him on TV.
But where was it?
That's a good question. You know why? When we went to see the fireman who saved our cat, Sleepy, he said he thought it was a child because he said it was the blaze and it was so much smoke he couldn't see. He felt the bed. He said your cat was on the bed in the worst room in the house, impending doom all around it, just laying on top of the bed. He said if you never saw a cat, then you should go under the bed or in the closet. He said that cat was just laying there waiting to be saved. Yeah, the fireman said he was dead, and we put oxygen on him, so then he started to breathe. So that was good.
Let me sum this all up and make sure we get out of here for Thanksgiving. No, this is great. This is good. This is what I love about your story. God, you said that God needs to make things clear for you. God, I think, over the last decade made it very clear that He wanted to know you and to have you know Him. And He did it in a lot of different ways. You saw Him be faithful through the fire and through the tragedy, whether that's saving your cat or the other ways He let you know that He was there. You met Pastor Bob Crosby twice, 5 years apart from each other, and both times he invited you to the church. You got lost and just found yourself in the parking lot at Mount Hope. And there was one more thing that you were telling me, Jim, when you bought your house in Burlington. What was that last piece?
Part of it, and I don't think Charlie's here. I don't know. Many people probably know Charlie Eaton. When we bought the house, we bought it from Charlie Eaton. We didn't know who Charlie Eaton was, except we were going to buy his house. Come to find out that Charlie Eaton attends this church. So there was another sign that we talked about.
Yeah.
Come to this church. And I know from my heart that it has transformed me. There's no doubt about it. It has transformed my life. And to me, this church is really my home. And the people here are my family. And I truly believe, and sincerely, that. Thank you.